Secretary to the Board of Trustees, says $200 million by 1st August 2021. The Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Professor Opoku Onyena,
says it's now $250 million by 6 September 2021. And it shot up to $350 million. Ricardo de Eca, the contractors, also claim it's $400 million. All kinds of figures escalating, appears to be a moving target. Do you have an idea how much exactly the National Cathedral cost?
Chairman, the honorable member should appreciate why we are here. I may not have the cost of the cathedral. I'm concerned about how those monies were spent. Was it with the authorization of Parliament or not? Was that expenditure in accord with the Constitution or not? Knowing myself, and let me use this forum, Chairman, to point out clearly, because I share the same burden with the Chairman and respected Ahmadis. Wholeheartedly, even me, I'll contribute in supporting a cathedral. I don't have any problem with supporting persons being given opportunity to worship their God and know their Lord. I have no difficulty at all. But should it be done with public resources or with private resources? And my view is that if it is to be done, even with public resources, come clear. Let us know the cost, value for money, where the money is coming from, how much is dedicated, and let Parliament give approval for it. So let nobody go and say that Haruna Idris is minority leader and the Honorable to forcing against Cathedral. No, we are consummate believers and respecters of freedom of conscience to exercise the right to freely practice your faith. But in establishing it, let's honor God in a manner that is honorable. How much are you spending? I can provide that details. I don't have the drawing. I'm not a quantity surveyor to know that. But I'm saying that how was the money spent? And then when I drive there every day when I'm coming from work or when I close, how much money you have poured on the ground? And when you say, Chairman, they will say you are adding new additional issues. It's like Agenda 111 hospitals. If you go around the country, contractors have just taken money from government and abandoned site. Some of them, grass is still at the sites, grass. Yet, monies have been released for people in the name of going to build hospitals for the Ghanaian people from taxpayers. We shouldn't take the public for granted. So when you pass by Cathedral, be interested in how much money have been spent and the state of work of the Cathedral. So, when there's a church ceremony there tomorrow, I'll attend and I'll sing "It Is Well," but not and it to be well, but not to create an impression as if we are not for it. No, we are saying that was authorization given by who? By Parliament. And I refer to Dr. Ayeni's own comment when we're passing the budget for that particular year. I mean, what you must do is let's know allocation. Then we know when those releases are done, nobody will raise an issue. So thank you very much. I'm sure, Chairman, if there are any further questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
The Honorable Samuel Okujeta Blakwa still has some questions. How many questions do you have?
About 6 questions, Chairman.
About 6 questions?
Yes.
On the National Cathedral?
And the cost of living, the alarming incompetence.
Yes,
but
on each item, Honorable Imadu,
I'm dealing with
3 items. It was that you asked 3 questions on each of the items. So since they combined, they combined 2 items, we can do 6, can't we? Yes.
Yeah, Chair, thank you very much. The Honorable Atuforsen, still on the National Cathedral, you indicate that Article 178 has been breached. There was no authorization by Parliament. I have heard some government communicators say that perhaps the finance minister can come under contingency and do what he has done. Is that a view you share? There's a contingency fund under our constitutional arrangement, allow a finance minister to do what has happened in this instant case?
Thank you very much. I'm not aware that a contingency fund in particular can be used for such a project. The Constitution is clear on how contingency fund can be used. And for the minister responsible for finance to be able to use the contingency fund, he will need the approval of the Finance Committee of Parliament. You recall that during the COVID era, the finance minister appeared before us, got approval under the constitutional requirement of the contingency fund, and Parliament approved. So I am not aware that the Ministry of Finance appeared before the Committee of Finance, of which I'm the ranking member, and we considered such a thing. So obviously it can be contingency fund.
Chairman, just to add up, is Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, why do you have to budget for a cathedral? 3 economic reasons. It is a phase-out project. You cannot finish it in 1 year. So every year, you must budget that I'll spend X amount to get to this level of the project. So once you conceptualize it well and cost it, then you know project will be completed in 18 months, 24 months, and then you are able to follow. So it's important that it is budgeted for. It is equally important that Parliament annually approve the budgetary allocations, because for this year, maybe you perform up to 30% level. The following year, you add up to 80%, and then you keep it going. So if you are talking about contingency, the danger is that if tomorrow you don't make provision for them for contingency because you have floods in the country, what happens to the project? Must it come to a standstill? So get it well, start it well, and end it well. That is what we are saying. Our concern is the Parliament of Ghana, which exercises oversight over the public purse. Did you warrant approval of allocation of money for the cathedral? And if you did, we'll then ask you what is the cost of the cathedral. So the question you are asking me, in allocating budget, you must know how much it will cost you in doing so. Thank you.
And then, Sami, if the Ministry of Finance use the contingency fund or whatever votes they use, it will show on the warrant where they are picking the money from. So if you have the warrant, you can track it and you'll be able to see. The specific warrant will show you where they are picking the votes from.
Is it my understanding that you are also concerned about all the fiscal exposure, the burden that has accrued to the taxpayer? Judges' bungalows demolished, they have to be replaced, extra cost. Judicial Training Institute demolished, they have to be replaced. Private institutions like COMSIS, the IT firm, demolished. They are entitled to compensation. Another company called Waterstone Realty. And indeed, I have the Waterstone Realty High Court case here where there's a looming judgment debt in excess of $50 million. Are you concerned about all of these attendant costs that have come about because of the recklessness of the finance minister in this particular case?
Mr.
They know that the finance minister is becoming a demolisher, so it's going about demolishing buildings and creating.
Mr. Chairman,
finance minister.
It is for this reason. It is for this reason why it was prudent on the part of the government and the finance minister to have come clean for us to know the total cost for the construction of the cathedral. Unfortunately, as we speak, no one, and I mean no one, we, the members of Parliament, with the power of the purse, we do not have any knowledge on the cost of the cathedral. To compute the total cost of the cathedral, it is not only the build cost. Sometimes you have to even value the land and the build back, and obviously other things you have to do so that we know the exact cost of the cathedral. And the need to prioritize it, whether it is priority of priority as said by the President or not, and to seek the approval of Parliament. Clearly, the power of the purse is not with the executive, it is with Parliament. So it is only Parliament that can approve the expenditure of this nature. Unfortunately, I have not cited any kind of expenditure of this magnitude. So it will be very difficult for me to say that this is the total cost of the cathedral. But I'm honestly concerned about the fiscal impact going forward. And obviously the project has started. One way or the other, something must be done with it. Are we going to abandon it, or we are going to spend more money on it as against school feeding, or as against what? At the times of major crisis of this nature, what are we going to do?
Are you also concerned about the contract to Sir David Ajay, the architect, who we are told that we owe $23.75 million on this National Cathedral project, which is now a burden to the taxpayer? Has this come to your attention, and are you concerned about that?
I'm afraid I need to actually come in at this time. I was expecting that you would allow some questions and disallow some questions. This attitude of they have actually come out with itemized points, 1 to 7. They have spoken to these points. They've made their points. This attitude of this style of questioning, of filling in gaps or things that had not been adduced by the proponents of the motion, I am uncomfortable with that. I am very much uncomfortable.
I accept it entirely. I mean, you see, that is the whole business that we were worried about. You see, it looks like we, as part of the committee too, are helping them with some more evidence. Not our business. They are the proponents of this. They have come up with their evidence. Maybe we'll restrict ourselves to what they have come up with, not the other bits. See, that's why I confiscated one of your documents. So let's see. Anyway, you've asked so many questions. We're tired.
Mr. Chairman, is that his form of re-examination or something?
It's getting, everybody's complaining now, so it's getting uncomfortable. Let's see how you go back.
He's asking follow-up questions with respect to the payments, all payments in connection with the National Cathedral.
Full picture. It's important to have the full picture.
So it's not a re-examination.
Yeah, this is about the National Cathedral.
Mr. Chairman, we object to this strongly. If he can hold a press conference to deal with those matters, but I think that we are here for a specific reason. Grounds have been stated. Let's stick to that. You know, we are not here for it's not a political platform to make some political pronouncements. Well, These are serious allegations. Please.
He will not teach me how to do my work in Parliament.
No,
this is Parliament. You won't teach me how to do my work.
Let me finish.
No, he can't come here and throw his weight about. He can't teach me how to do my work. I take strong exception that I should go and hold a press conference. Please.
I'm only 78 kilos.
Please.
I'm not going to throw it around. My point
please.
Is
I won't accept that.
Yes.
And you are not the chair. You don't tell members of Parliament what to do.
That's fine. So, I mean, we appreciate the point.
I will do my work. I'm not going to hold a press conference. You will not teach me how to do my work.
I think we made the point. There have been quite a few questions already. But if we don't have, we're listening to the tenor of the next two questions. Well, let's hear him first.
Mr. Chairman,
we haven't heard what he's going to say.
Mr. Chairman, I think that those who appear before this committee must be guided. We work with standing orders. And if you go through our standing orders, this committee can decide not to hear strangers. It's very clear. Standing order 2022.
Who is the stranger now? Who is the stranger now?
No. Once you are not a member of Parliament, that is how the standing order describes it.
So who is the stranger? Who is the stranger?
That is how the standing order describes it.
I
I take. Yes, but he can.
Allow Sami to answer
Please,
for
please.
himself. Who is a stranger?
Please, I mean, you can't come and say we can go and hold press. We are working, and we are here to do our job. So please, let that be clear.
Yeah, that's fine. That's clear.
Mr. Chairman, this National Cathedral project, we are discussing fiscal recklessness, which has brought us where we are. There are all manner of incidental costs associated to this project. There's an architect we owe $23,750,000. This is a letter from the office of the president, a contract with this architect. It is all part of the cost. There's a looming judgment debt in excess of $50 million. These are not matters that I'm conjuring. They are matters that the people of this country
the point is already
expect us
clearly
to deal
made.
with.
The clearly made about the constitutionality of the withdrawals to finance the bid that has already been paid for. I mean,
Yeah, not approved by this House. And I'm asking the proponents if these are matters that have come to their attention and if they are concerned about them. It's a legitimate question.
I would have thought that they answered that already. They know all about it. The proponents, they know all about what there is to know, and they've answered. So what is the... Can we go on to the next question if there's any more?
Well, thank you, Chairman. I'm glad that our records will reflect these very vital documents and financial exposures to the Ghanaian taxpayer. My next question relates to the alarming incompetence and ineptitude of the finance minister. Items 4, 5, and 6.
No, Sammy, you can't do that. I mean, we answered all these questions. We posed the questions they've answered, and we're going back for you to ask all these many questions. No. Who are you asking the questions to? You're asking them what are they?
Chairman, can I be allowed to ask my questions?
No, I can't. You cannot be allowed to ask any question. I'm asking the basis for the questions. Because I understood as you have had the opportunity to ask the questions.
Item number 7.
So you go to the 7.
Yes, item number 7. The gross mismanagement of the Ghanaian economy. The Honorable Ranking Member for the Finance Committee has provided some data. I want to find out from the Ranking Member if he shares the view, and this question relates to our ratings, which have plummeted, the worst ratings this country has ever received at the hands of the rating agencies, Moody's, Fitch, Standard & Poor's. The president appears to suggest that we are being treated unfairly in his speech at the United Nations General Assembly. I want to find out from the Honorable Ranking Member regarding our downgrades. Is that a view he shares? Do you think that Africa is being treated unfairly by these rating agencies, and specifically Ghana?
The president presupposes that we all know what the president said. What did the president say?
The president, in his address to the United Nations General Assembly, thought that the rating agencies, he was quite categorical, that they have not been fair to African countries. And he refers to Ghana's downgrade. So I want to find out if that's a view shared by the Ranking Member on the Finance Committee.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I personally think that the President is not probably getting the required briefs. I say this for a simple reason that I think the rating agencies were late in the day in the downgrades, because I believe the market started reacting way before the rating agencies started acting. The market, in fact, downgraded us in their view beginning from November 2021 through to all the way to the time the rating agencies came on board. I've said publicly that the rating agencies were late in the day. In fact, on the very day that the government wrote to the Africa Union complaining about the ratings, subsequent to that, other rating agencies downgraded Ghana. Last week, I heard Fitch and the head of risk saying that in the coming months, they are preparing to downgrade Ghana further to RD. RD more or less means that default.
Mr. Chairman,
So
Chairman,
that for me,
Mr.
thinks
Chairman,
that I don't share the
Mr.
same
Chairman,
view with the IMF.
with all due respect, this is not a committee for hearsay. You know, you can't go on a wild goose chase and be speculating. Please.
You said a reaction of your colleagues.
That you heard.
Yeah, you know, so.
From where? Where is the record? That's not. No, you heard where?
No. You hear. Okay, so don't say you hear. So tell us what you want to tell us.
Mr. Chairman, I will never come to a committee like this, of this structure, and come and obviously speculate. I wouldn't do that. That is not in my DNA. I'm a gentleman, and I will never do that. Mr. Chairman,
so let's hear the other way.
Mr. Chairman,
the other way around.
This is a statement from Fitch on their website. This is a statement that Fitch granted an interview to Bloomberg, and they made that clear statement. I will not conjure it coming from, and they use the word they will be downgraded to RD. You can even Google it on GhanaWeb or somewhere else. I'm sure they picked it from there. So they themselves, it's not coming from me. So it's coming. It is coming from Fitch, rating agency that government of Ghana has contracted.
We'll have a look. We'll have a look at it and see what it's worth. For what it's worth, yeah, we'll have a look at it.
Chairman, my final question. Honorable Ranking Member, earlier, a colleague on this committee tried to create the impression that the delay in passing the E-levy is the cause of the current economic woes that we have been plunged into.
Is that a view you share? What's your own appraisal of the situation?
Who said that?
The Honorable Mesa said that. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I disagree vehemently with that statement from our colleague, the Honorable Ejapa Mesa.
All right, you're giving your answer.
I say this for a simple reason, that the E-levy policy was bound to fail. After it was passed, they couldn't generate the revenue.
I don't think it is fair when you answer the question to take us along the road.
No, but Mr. Chairman, if a question is asked, I should explain why I disagree.
We've taken your answer. You said you disagree.
So that I can give you the breakdown why I disagree.
That's fine. Thank you. Any more questions? Yeah, sorry. Wait a minute. Yes, let's go to him. We'll come back to you. Let him. He's a bit upset. I want him to calm down. So let him go. Yeah, go on.
Thank you. Honorable Ofori, you put a figure on the screen. If I may be privileged to have, there was something that you said we had gotten to 80% of the GDP, and that the finance minister ought to have done something. I want that on the screen. My question is based on that. You're on there.
So
now,
Honorable
I think they are trying to put it up.
Okay, which of the items are you dealing with? No, in terms of the grounds.
Do I have to? I'm not a proponent of the motion, so I don't. No,
well,
I want clarity from a statement that he made. And he was saying that I don't remember which ground, but he had said that Ghana had gotten to 80. I think that was when he summed item 6. Yes, this is the right. Honorable Ofori, please. With a greater respect, I believe you are the author of this document.
I am not the author of this document. This document is coming from Goldman Sachs.
global investment research, and you can see it underneath it.
Okay, so this is somebody's, I do not appreciate the body that is giving this suggestion, but I would want to believe that you believe in this, this paragraph that you have actually shown.
Of course, I believe in it.
And that if you were, for instance, a minister in charge, you could have gone by these suggestions. Is that your only reason why you think that the finance minister must be censored because he didn't go by what you ought to have done?
I'm sorry to say that that is not my only reason. We have given you 7 grounds. I have taken you through 4 grounds myself, and that cannot be the only reason. This is one of the reasons that I believe the Minister of Finance must go through the censure motion. I have said that if he had acted, Ghana wouldn't have been where we are today. And I've said that the problems we are facing, economic hardships that the country is going through, to the extent that our livelihood has been eroded, I believe that if we had acted back in the year 2021, Ghana wouldn't have been where we are. We could have remedied the situation. And that is why I put that graph out there.
Chairman, Honorable Anyumedu, I appreciate your question, but just to
put a question to you, Harun. He hasn't.
Oh.
You are completely out of order.
No,
Yes.
we are together on debt.
No. Just go on. He's not protecting anybody. He's
No.
not protecting anybody. Go, Harun.
No,
It's not your third yet. Let him finish.
There's a question on debt.
Yes, yes. No, unfortunately, Honorable Katie Amon, I would say me Pekasa Dudu.
Yeah, come on.
No, my tree is not good.
Go on.
Okay, you would agree with me that this suggestion, which you believe that it could have saved Ghana, is not the only suggestion on this earth to save the situation in which Ghana was. Your comment.
Thank you very much. When a country...
Chairman, so I have to contextualize this for the Honorable Atta to explain. You see, debt to GDP, we share our data. Chairman, in 2016, Ghana's debt to GDP was 55.6%. It increased to 55.5 or lower to 55.5 in 2017. In 2018, our debt to GDP was 57.6%. The explanation in 2018 why it was lowered was because the economy was rebased. They rebased the economy. 2019, debt to GDP 62.4%, 2020 76.1%, 2021 83%. And the World Bank is projecting that by 2022, it may be 104%. So we simply with this, yes, it may be his way of resolving it, are saying that the Honorable Minister for Finance have plunged Ghana into a debt crisis. Which debt crisis allows us only to spend more on debt service. So by the time the Honorable Minister for Finance spends money on just 3 items, amortization and interest on loans and compensation, he exceeds his revenue. That again, Chairman, because it's a question we have to explain. When you take E-levy, as Honorable Mercer said, you see the problem with E-levy is that the minister had projected 6.9 billion as outturn for his revenue. He projected that into 2023 and to 2024 in his medium-term expenditure framework for the budget. Where is that money going to come from when he's only making 416 or 500 million? And that's why the President of the Republic himself was concerned when he said that he wants to up revenue from 13% to 18%. Have we come or we have gone? When you are bringing E-levy, you say to up revenue from 13 to 18%.
No one is succeeded in collapsing E-levy. What did you expect?
No,
You never contributed to that, and you assisted the whole of the nation that we collapsed it. I asked the question had not been answered, and other things had been said. Chairman, permit me to actually take him on.
No, let
what
him
he
take
had
me
also
on. I'm
said.
ready. Thank you, Chairman.
Because he who does not believe in God, there's no need persuading him with Jesus. You had already said that E-levy you wouldn't be part of it.
Yes, but I think heckling the witness is not something. Yeah, he was heckling the witness.
Well, it's unfortunate that he wouldn't even let him complain. I'm not sure he answered the question that was meant for Ato. He hijacked it and wouldn't answer the question anyway.
Oh.
All right, let's see if Ato, can you try it again? Take it. It will come to you. As soon as he finishes, Mesa will come to you. Yes.
The Chairman, there are 5 ways to deal with debt overhang. When a country finds itself in an unsustainable debt situation, there are 5 ways you can deal with it. Number 1, you grow out of the debt. Obviously, Ghana is not in a position to grow out of the debt, so that is off the table. Number 2, inflate the debt away. As to whether we can inflate the debt away is impossible at this stage because of the nomenclature of Ghana's debt. It's not possible. Third option is for you as a country to consider repaying the debt through fiscal adjustment. Fiscal adjustment, and that is what I've put out there, that Ghana had a chance to repay the debt through fiscal adjustment. And the only way we could do is not to increase the expenditure or continue the fiscal recklessness. Or what we could have done at the time was to do fiscal consolidation. We failed to do that. Now the option left for us is either to go through debt repression, fiscal repression, or probably to restructure our debt. So now, and no wonder people are talking of debt restructuring. The truth is, whether we like it or not, because we've missed this golden opportunity, people will have to get some form of haircut or some form of debt restructuring. That is what is happening.
Seems to have a whole input into the budget, into the IMF program, and all that. I seem to know quite a lot about it, don't you? Have you finished, Honorable?
But that's why he's a ranking member on finance.
I didn't know that he's contributing to the budget preparation, the IMF, whatever.
Yes, but he's on top of his brief so that he can represent the minority on financial matters.
Have you finished? Yes, Mesa.
Mr. Chairman, my name has been mentioned twice with respect to the point that I made on Parliament breaching Section 22 of the PFMA. And the point that I made really had nothing to do with the performance or the outturn of the E-levy. It has everything to do with what the law enjoined Parliament to do by a certain date, failing which we all knew there would be consequences. So the point I'm making is that to the extent that Parliament failed to pass the law by 31st December as enjoined by the law, okay, we knew that the ratings agencies were going to downgrade, but you cannot approve the budget, approve the appropriations, and fail to approve the revenue measures. That's the law.
No, respect for the chairman.
So
Parliament is not a rubber stamp.
We knew very well that there will be consequences.
You can't assume that anything you bring to Parliament will be approved.
That's the point. But you approved the budget.
Automatic.
No?
It's not automatic.
Was the budget approved or not? Was the appropriations approved or not?
We made clear that we were opposed to the E-levy. We made clear.
It's not a question and serious amongst us. You're all out of order. Doctor, were you going to say something? Yes, go on. Yeah, go on. And then...
Rubber stamp, anything that...
Thank you, co-chairs. Can we please? If I may ask, on the issue, you mentioned a company, Jubilee Holding, as one company that's neither in the consolidated fund nor a subsidiary of the GMPC. Are there other companies that have come to your notice that are similar to this? Because you referred to, and point 3, illegal...
No. See, this is the point that we're making. They've been very specific. They are interested in a specific company.
Co-chair, please let me finish my question because you'll understand why I'm asking this.
Okay.
Illegal payment of oil revenues into offshore accounts, plural. It's not accounts. That's why I'm asking if you can provide us with more that will give some kind of supporting evidence to accounts being plural as opposed to one. That is the basis of my question.
JOHL thing to be a few accounts, not just one account, but the whole context is about the JOHL thing. That's how I've understood it. We have had this debate all along on the basis of that understanding. So I'm not sure that at this belatedly they are going to be able to say that it's a different account they are talking about.
Mr. Chairman, for clarity,
Yes.
I just want to say that it can be one company and multiple accounts.
Very
so one company can have 2 or 3 accounts. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it can be 2 companies. It's one company with
Very well.
accounts.
So just for clarity, you're saying there's just the one company. There are no other companies like this. It was just the one that you made reference to.
GMPC has other subsidiaries like Exploco, but a week or 2 ago, if you were in the chamber, the Honorable Kobna Donko and the chairman, that day it was a vice chairman of the employment committee, moved a motion on GMPC, and they listed the subsidiaries of GMPC in their report. In that report, there was no Jubilee Holding. Thank you.
This $100 million in particular had to do with Jubilee Holding in particular, not the other ones. That's why it's making reference to only the JN.
Mr. Chairman, can they be specific whether there was one account or 2 accounts? So in preparing to answer, we can respond appropriately.
No, we don't have to do that. He was clear. He said that we're talking about that money, but there might be a few accounts. We are looking at 100 million.
I think it's
if
important.
If the 100 million is found in 10 accounts, so be it. If it is in just one account, so be it. So we'll get some...
Yes, and Council, your client is alleged to have made the payments. He would appear before this committee, and I'm sure he can confirm how many accounts, were involved in receiving the 100 million.
Very well.
Go on.
Thank you very much, Co-Chair. At some point in, elucidating your points, you mentioned that there was some kind of overspending when it came to the COVID budget. Would you be able to provide the committee with more detail so that we can actually, look at this to be able to actually come up with a
finding that we can report to the floor?
Yes.
Specific.
Yes, we can provide you with further details on the COVID expenditure that we think it was over expenditure, and we think that it is part of the reason why
that
we are
extra to what you already alleged, or what?
No,
You're going to look for more?
No, we have, these are public information, so we can put them together.
So you pile on, as we go along, you pile on more evidence, isn't it?
No, she asked for it. She asked for it, whether I can submit them.
But you see, I think you should also be fair to our colleague. You have been very clear in your stand that this is what you're looking at. She has asked you innocently that, well, would you be able to add some more?
So you want me to say no?
No, be fair with her.
No, I'm fair. That's what I'm saying. Yes, I can.
Look around on a frolic of our own and look for some more.
So that was an aspect. If you want more, I'll give you more.
She hasn't said that. It's you saying that, yes, we'll go around and then fish for some more information and add.
With all due respect, with all due respect, the question from the Honorable Zanato Ajima Rollins was to the effect that, okay, did they have or can they give further particulars, with respect to the COVID expenditure? It was very specific. In addition to what they have alleged, can they? No. That can, with all due respect, that can be supplied to this committee. It's public information.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, let me refer you to our rules, standing on the 67D, which applies to this committee's hearing on questions. 67(1)D. A question shall not be asked regarding proceedings in a committee which have not been placed before the House by a report from the committee. Mr. Chairman, the Speaker has constituted a special committee to look into the COVID expenditure. We are in the process of evaluating all the documents that my colleague Atufos and the rest of members of the other committee has been tasked to do. I believe that we are in that process, and that question from my colleague ought not to be admitted because that report, per this rule, has not yet been laid before the House, for which he will be sitting here to say that, oh, I have further evidence to what has been supplied or been requested of the committee.
No, with all due respect, are you done with your submission. I think that you are, grossly mistaken in your reading of Order 67.1D. Order 67.1D relates to proceedings at plenary. In respect of which questions are being asked regarding proceedings of the committee that do not arise out of the report that has been laid before plenary. All right. In the course of the exercise of the investigative or inquiry power of a committee, that question is appropriate. The question that she has asked is appropriate because she's asking follow-up questions relating to information that may be made available to the committee so that we can make a fair determination of the matter that is the subject matter of the inquiry.
Mr. Chairman, where do you posit this question with regards to those grounds that they've enumerated in their proposition to this committee?
It is in the context of evidence that has been laid before this committee.
There are 7 of them.
Yes.
So where do you place it?
No, she's looking at item 7, gross mismanagement.
Gross mismanagement of what?
Of the economy. Honorable Patrick Guama, you have the grounds of the motion, don't you?
I do, but I'm at a loss as to where she wants to posit.
Whatever there is to put before, they have. That's my point. We already have what they have. We have enough of it, so it is all for them to go out based on the questions that she's asked, for them to go fishing and to add more onto it. Go on to your next question.
Chairman or co-chair, for me, the issue that I have, which is to do with our job here, if you're talking about mismanagement of an economy, it's not just an abstract concept. There are figures you speak to, and I'm simply asking for them to provide figures on some of the things that they have said. Because otherwise, our report...
I'm actually helping your point.
Some
of the figures they themselves have made.
That's all I'm
no
saying.
Problem at all.
Yes.
So the impression is that they're going to look for some more, some extra
No,
whatever.
it's just
for what they have
to
said.
speak specifically.
Give us some evidence on some documents. On
Mr. Chairman,
already been adduced.
The minister reported to the House and stated clearly that government spent 18.3 billion Ghana cedis on COVID. It's of public knowledge. So what again are we asking for?
Well, they have that figure, so they're going to bring it. See, what's your worry? What's the problem?
No, Honorable Padiguama, what is the breakdown? Was there a breakdown?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
There was a debate on the floor. You spoke. I spoke after you. I recall vividly, Mr. Chairman.
But it doesn't mean that the committee cannot inquire into those matters. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, in the 2021, Mr. Chairman, in the 2021 media review, page 100 and 101, has details of some of the COVID expenditures. Some, not all, but at least about majority of it. 2021 media review, page 100 and 101, has the details.
Yes, and then after that, Honorable Ahiefo.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, on the issue of JOHL, I want to find out from the proponents whether they are aware that JOHL is a limited liability company.
Limited liability company, who are the directors and holders of it? Limited liability company. We are hearing you. Who are they? I'm aware that it was incorporated in 2021.
They are not aware.
Yeah, I'm aware that when the Honorable Counsel for the Minister was here, Gabi, I warned him. He had a document before him. I told him my eyes are very fast. I'll chew it. So when he opened the first paragraph, I saw JOL incorporated in 2020. So I'm answering based on
what is that? What is that?
I wasn't aware until I read from him.
So you read it. What did you glean from it?
I read from him. I kept warning him that don't put your document before my eyes.
All right.
He did.
So that's why. So what is the answer? You are aware that it's a limited liability company?
Oh, from what I read from him, he provided an answer that it was incorporated in JOH.
What is getting me 6 steps? Even the minority leader wouldn't behave the way you are behaving.
So limited liability company, our concern is with whose approval did you take money meant from the Petroleum Holding Fund into that limited liability company? Who are the owners of that limited liability company? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, for your information, I think our grounds has nothing to do with the company. Our grounds has to do with the amount of money that they do not hit the Petroleum Holding Fund, but ended up in a particular account. That's our grounds.
Okay. Okay. So, it's confirmed. It's confirmed before this committee.
You can only
the Honorable Mesa.
Yes.
It's confirmed before this committee that Jubilee Oil Holdings Limited is a limited liability company. Can you now proceed?
Mr. Chairman, I want to find out from the proponents whether they are aware that the shareholder of that limited liability company is GMPC.
I won't know. I didn't incorporate it. And if it is GMPC, absolute, or there are others. Is it 100% GMPC? I wasn't to answer questions.
You are asking the question, or you are saying that you don't know?
He says it's own limited liability owned by GMPC.
He asks you, are you aware?
As I live here,
I take it that he's not aware.
No, as I live here, I'll go to Registrar General and profile Jubilee Holdings. Thank you.
Chairman, I want to find out from the proponents that if it is established that indeed JOHL is a limited liability company which is 100% owned by GMPC, and that JOHL is the entity that owns the 7% stake in the Jubilee and 10 fields, they still will hold the same view that the revenue that accrues to JOHL.
Look a minute. Wait, listen to us. 1 second. No. We're not going to answer any of that. Does it help? Because the two of us were conferring. We think it would be fair to get GMPC here. So can we hold on this and for GMPC to come and deal with the JHL matter? So if we can
Chairman,
just leave it.
you see, the import of my line of questioning, that it seems to me, because I have the work program of GMPC that was submitted to Parliament and duly approved. And in that document, GMPC, in fact, disclosed to Parliament that in October 2021, they had acquired a subsidiary company by name.
That's why we think that we've got to get them here and then put it
Chairman,
to them.
my point is this. It seems to me that a wrong premise has been set with a view to embarrass and nothing more. That's why I'm going where I'm going.
Well,
if it is clear.
I also raised the matter. I raised the matter whether they were aware that GMPC has something to do with this, and we left it hanging like that because I think we had agreed that we get GMPC to come and smart out. So
you want to invite GMPC to come and respond to this
coming to deal with
the person who has been accused of paying sums of money outside the jurisdiction is the finance minister.
We appreciate that.
Not GMPC.
We appreciate that.
And so it's important for us to, please, Mr. Co-Chairman, it's important for us to establish whether indeed and in fact the minister has directed or even made payments outside the jurisdiction in the first place.
By the time we get to the minister's response, this matter would have resolved.
Very well.
And then, Honorable Co-Chair, I think the Honorable Mesa was impugning.
Chairman, I withdraw.
Yes,
I withdraw.
I think you should withdraw. You should withdraw. Yes. To say that they had an intention to embarrass.
I
There is a motion before
I
the House.
duly withdraw.
Please.
So you don't have to belabor it. I've withdrawn, and I apologize.
Yes.
He's apologized. You don't accept that there's an element of embarrassment in all of this?
Well,
yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
It is against the rules, right? Practices and conventions of Parliament to impugn ill motives to a member who is making a point on the floor.
Yeah, thank you.
I have, in all humility.
No, you withdrawn it, so we don't believe it. We don't believe it.
Anybody?
It looks like it's done. Isn't it?
Is it done? Yes.
Okay.
Honorable Anhefo.
You are the last one.
indication is that it passed 6, so I have to hurry up with my question.
No, you don't have. In fact, you do better by not asking at all.
Yes, the proponents of the motion. I understand you to be saying simply that the success of a country never lies not in falling, but rising each time there is a fall. You have stated in ground 6 and 7, respectively, that the finance minister is incompetent. He has mismanaged the economy. Earlier this morning, they brought a letter requesting for particulars. Can you tell the committee specifically what the finance minister ought to have done that he failed to do? In other words, what he has done that he ought not to have done that resulted in the incompetence and the mismanagement of the economy.
I'm not sure you are entitled to take us right back to the beginning of all that proceeding. No, that it's been explained. As they went along, they explained to us repeatedly, ad nauseam, explained to us why this and that, and repeatedly, as far as he was concerned, why he was incompetent. I kept asking him, that was your view, that was this and that and that. So why are you taking us back? So that's why I told you that when it's 6:30, you don't ask questions.
Mr. Co-Chair, if what they have given us satisfied.
Doesn't satisfy anything.
Ground.
It's their view. No, it doesn't satisfy. It's their view. Go on.
If they are satisfied with item number 5,
who is
on
satisfied
their letter,
with that? Who is satisfied?
I am okay.
Who is satisfied? No, don't leave us hanging like that. Who is satisfied with what?
There was a letter specifically requesting for particulars. And I am asking a question pertaining to ground 6 and 7.
Saying that all along they made a statement to the effect to what they think is the incompetence. We accept that, but now you are saying that if we are satisfied, that the committee is satisfied that there's some incompetence here, or who is satisfied?
No.
That is their view.
No.
The finance minister will come and explain whether...
If you are satisfied that
who is
the
satisfied?
answers given complies with the full
You are
particulars
out
that
of,
they are requesting for.
You're out of order. You're out of order. It's okay. Any more questions? Any more questions? Okay. Yes.
Honorable members, any more questions to the two witnesses?
It's fine. No more questions.
Oh, don't worry. All right. The Honorable Minority Leader and the Honorable Ranking Member on Finance, the Honorable Members of the Committee, the Honorable Members of the Committee have indicated that they do not have any further questions for you. There will be no questions from either myself or my co-chair, the Honorable K.T. Hammond. There is only one outstanding issue with respect to reference that was made to the special audit report.
Before you do,
forget. You recall that along the line we referred the Hansard of June to counsel for this thing to clear with his client if they appreciate what's in there. I think we almost glossed over. Yes, counsel, what do you have to say about that?
Honorable K.T. Hammond, I was on the floor with respect to that audit report, and I think I'm asking...
We'll come back to it.
Okay.
We'll come back to it. We made a ruling on it. If you are going to overrule my ruling, we'll deal with that.
No, I didn't intend to overrule.
So let's listen to...
As a matter of committee procedure, I thought that we should take...
I understand that. Let's listen to counsel, and then we'll take it from there. Yes. That will refer to him. We'll come back to him. I'm tired, actually. Yes, go on.
Mr. Chairman, I've looked at the Hansard of 22nd June 2022, specifically from pages 116 to, I believe, 123. The question was laid by Theresa Ladi Awuni, and the specific question to be answered by the Minister of Finance was this. Mr. Speaker, I beg to ask the Minister for Finance, how much was raised in total from government bonds since 2017, who the transaction advisors and book runners were since 2017, and how much was paid to each of the transaction advisors and book runners since 2017. And the question, I mean, the names that came up, there were 9 institutions at least, including Stanbic Bank, EcoBank, Absa Bank, GCB Bank, Car Bank, Fidelity Bank, IC Securities, Data Bank, and Blackstar Brokerage. Now, all the details I haven't gone through to be able to say that this percentage or this amount was
That
paid
really
to.
has nothing to do with the conflict of interest point at all.
So I'll get there. I will get there because a number was mentioned here as having specifically gone to Data Bank. And I'm saying that I haven't done the calculation to tell you. But what I can say, and I go back to my point, that there was no specific question or mention of conflict of interest. The minister was asked for information, facts and figures regarding bonds issued. And in this case, so I think if we're going to create a link between the two, as in the minister being called to ask questions, to answer questions on bonds, link that with the minister facing a vote of censure, where specifically one of the allegations is to do with conflict of interest, then my submission is that, respectfully, that matter, as to where that matter can be properly
We'll get you. We'll deal with that in relation to the constitutional point you raised. Thank you very much.
It's charged.
Okay.
The Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Yeah.
Council, just
No, you are not following. No, that what? Sorry, what did I say? I asked him we gave him the document to clear with his what's the name? The finance minister. So we Harun, stop it, please, stop it.
You heard him.
No, I haven't heard him. I'm speaking, and you also speaking. What do you intend to do?
Yeah, Council.
Yeah, so we asked him to clarify with his client. He's come up to tell us his view. So what's the problem, Aruna?
Chairman, you have to be a little patient. As he read the answer, continue to be.
As I would have sacked you from this place already.
In his answer, he mentions
this is my field today.
Data Bank.
You can't have the whole house to yourself when we get there. Today is my day.
Blackstar. So that excited our interest on conflict of interest to see whether it bordered on ethical or unethical conduct. We are not conclusive. So some of these questions, for instance, we've already filed a question for the Minister of Finance to answer on pensions. Don't overrate what we know. We only ask to get official confirmation for our purposes in saving this country. So we've already filed a question for the Minister of Finance to answer a question on pensions. We know something, but we want to be sure. So I just wanted to contextualize it. But
as I said, we will discuss that in context of the constitutional point that he raised.
Yeah, Council, are you aware that from the Hansard report, payments were made to Data Bank? You are aware of that?
It is obvious.
Very well.
Among others. Yeah.
Among others. Yeah. All right. And the finance minister stands in a relationship with Data Bank, does he not?
Finance minister is a co-founder of Data Bank.
Okay.
And he's not the first finance minister to be a founder of a bank.
Well, that is a historical fact.
But he founded it before.
Very well.
Very well.
What about the resignations? I read something about he resigned from directorship.
Honorable K.T. Amon, can I land? It's important. It's important. It's important. It's important.
What about is he still a member? Whatever.
He resigned, I believe, in 2014 or 2012.
Yeah, but he's a shareholder, is he not? Oh, no, counsel, please. You made a constitutional objection based upon the content.
But
The content. Okay?
Respectfully,
Yes.
I am saying that there's nothing wrong with Parliament asking a Minister of Finance about
Payments made to his
payments
company.
made.
Very well.
But in this particular instance, the charge or allegation or ground for his removal through the process of vote of censure is specifically about conflict of interest. I think let's not try to.
I think we had
misunderstand.
enough of
Yes.
this. We had enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So what? That's done. Now let's.
So,
What next? What follows?
So,
Sorry. Well, forgive me. So when maybe I said it distinctively. So what? If I repeat, what I mean then is that what is that? Yeah.
What
so
next?
what is that next?
What
So
next?
I-
Yes,
That's what I thought.
the
What
Auditor
is the
General
point? What are you saying
about his, I mean,
I ruled it out. What are you saying?
well, it must be ruled in.
So you are telling
because
chairman what to do?
No,
See,
the
when I
committee-
talk about modern day young men, everybody is upset with me. Look at that.
These
Your
are
uncle makes a ruling
No,
and the forum as important as this. And you want to overrule it.
unfortunately, no, unfortunately, unfortunately.
How are you going to get this back in? How are you going to get it back in? No, who didn't agree? The chairman.
Okay.
Let's get this right. When the chairman rules, he doesn't need the agreement of the entire body. It is
Yes.
the co-chairman. Now, I talked to the co-chairman, I thought he agreed, and we ruled it out.
No,
Why is
no,
the
no, no.
co-chairman
I
coming
hadn't,
back
I
on
hadn't
this one?
agreed. I hadn't agreed before we rose. As I said, I said.
No, I didn't think I was.
Yes.
But if he says, wait a minute. No.
It's important. It's important because
So
they
if he
answered
says-
questions
yeah,
on it.
If he now says that it was unilateral, what does he intend to do now? You see, we'll face we'll make a big header because I have ruled. He
Well-
says he didn't rule. I got 3 of them here. We are 4. You got 3 of you here. We are 4. You are 4. What are we going to do?
Well, we'll take a vote.
How do you take that vote?
We'll take a vote.
All right, I go along your vote and let me hear you.
Very well. Before we take the vote, we want to make a point.
Chairman, thank you for the opportunity revisiting.
Sammy, that's the point. That's the point. What is it that, because the point, one second, the point that we're making was that consistently they were arguing that we stand the risk of continuously adding to the list. We already have 17.
And so we said, why do you 18 of the items? That so we said that in fact they themselves didn't have this. They made no reference to
already,
this.
no.
You
On the
decided
list,
that-
we have Auditor General report.
What is it in there that you
We have
wanted
Auditor
to?
General
Okay,
report.
Show
This
us
is
the
an
point
Auditor General's report.
Go on, show us the point
I
that
made
you wanted.
reference to page 34 and 35.
What is in there?
About the recoveries that have been made. The 4.7 billion in wrong pockets. The Auditor General has managed to retrieve
In wrong pockets.
2.2 billion.
In wrong pockets, not in the finance minister's pocket.
Diversions. Well, the finance ministry is here, 1.6 billion.
Not in the finance minister's pocket.
I haven't, for the finance ministry, it's here as 1.6
All right.
billion.
So yes, the
So
Auditor
this-
General
this-
is made some money for the state. Is that the point?
The Auditor General confirms
Yes.
the fiscal recklessness we are talking about, the malfeasance, the diversions, the corruption. So, Auditor General's report is in the list of reports that have
That's
been
fine.
presented
You want to-
by the
what is-
proponents.
you want to
Why
market-
can't we add this?
You want to mark it as what?
Yes, let's
hand
add
it over to the clerk and mark it as
Thank you
whatever.
very much.
Give it. Mark it, and then the minister would answer for himself. He can talk. Yeah.
I think that if the Auditor General makes a report, this report is not against the Finance Minister specifically. The Auditor General can make report, and that is his duty. He makes it every year. he recoups monies that go into wrong hands. Except we want to say that every item, every
is responsible for that.
Minister is responsible. Otherwise, I do not see.
I'm happy to put it in there.
No, that's the import of what you are saying.
Yeah, put it in there. That's fine.
The Auditor General had made a report.
Honorable members, at this stage, the evidence has been laid. Whatever probative value we attach to that evidence is left for the committee. So that is why I think it's important.
The evidence has been led by?
The evidence has been led by the proponents of the motion. And honorable members, in asking follow-up questions, are entitled to refer to documents in the public domain, published by this republic. No, why do you say it's irrelevant? You are saying that it's irrelevant.
Nothing means the finance
yes,
minister
so
on this.
Okay, so make you well. So you can put
enough. We can't be shouting across like that. Yes, complete.
Well, I was saying that if the honourable member is minded to have the committee rule on the admissibility of the evidence, he's entitled to to put a motion on the floor. You are entitled to make a motion on the floor for us.
Honorable, for what it's worth, let's put it in there. But he made 2 points. The probative value of it is significant.
Yes.
Let's put it in there. We'll see what it's worth. It's fine. It might not be worth anything as far as this contest is concerned. All right. So,
okay, so the Honorable Minority Leader and the Honorable Ranking Member on Finance, I think you've...
No, I don't think they need to take their leave yet because we're going to decide on our next steps. If we have to get them back here, they need to know.
No, well, the clerks will communicate to them.
Okay.
If we need to get them back here.
Okay.
Yes. So you are discharged from the committee. And thank you very much for the time you have spent with us and for the evidence that you have placed before the committee in service of the Republic of Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council will be here with us. We thank you very much. He will be coming back with the finance minister when he is giving evidence. We'll make a determination with respect to the time that you appear before us.
Mr. Chairman, we were told that we'll be given time to prepare, and considering all the documents and evidence that were being thrown in as the proceedings were going on, we would wish to request for 48 hours to allow the finance minister to study the documents and all the evidence before this.
Entirely proper. It's entirely proper. Yes. It's finished. It says about 48 hours. 48 hours is Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah. And
come on, with all the evidence that we had, give them 48 hours.
172. We would want. Is it our understanding that they have finished? Yeah. Okay. And you will still rule on the round one. Okay. And when should we expect a response from you on that?
We will do that before we leave here.
Tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
On the constitutional point, we would rule on that before we leave. Yes.
Okay. But we require at least 48 hours.
What's your reckoning of the 48 hours?
48 hours should mean that, what's today?
Today's Tuesday.
Yes, says we are looking at Friday.
So we have tomorrow 24 hours. Yeah. No, wait a minute, 48 hours. Let's do the mathematics right. Have you forgotten your mathematics? No, 48 hours. Tomorrow is 24. And then Thursday is another 24, 48. So we're talking about Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Council, the last day, we've been given 7 days.
Yeah.
All right, and the last day, is Friday.
Yes.
So we don't have, the speaker's permission to give an extension beyond the 7 days.
We could. I mean, we could go to the speaker and...
No, that would require moving a motion on the floor, right?
What's the problem with that?
Well, we believe we can, the finance minister, who will speak for himself,
Yeah.
We believe we need just one day for the finance minister to make his submissions. Yeah.
Well, if
So
that
we
is,
can
if that
finish
is
that on
so,
Friday.
can we have you on Thursday at 11, so that we give ourselves?
Yeah.
What about 2 o'clock?
Thursday may be a bit of a stretch. This is a serious committee. A lot of serious allegations have been made.
Friday seems to be fine.
Friday.
We'll talk about this. Yeah, we'll talk about this. Because the whole idea of coming here, moving this to committee, is to give the minister ample time to scrupulously deal with the issues confronted with. So I think Friday, Mr. Chairman, let's Thursday or Friday? Friday.
Friday morning.
Yes.
In that case, we'll meet earlier. We'll meet earlier so that, yes. So instead of 11, we can meet at 9 or 10.
No, 10.
10 o'clock.
Yes.
10 o'clock in the forenoon.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you.
All right. And Honorable Finance Minister, thank you for attending upon the committee with your technical team. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll draw the proceedings of the committee to a close for today. Thank you very much, members of the media. Yes, and we are not going to answer questions, asked by the media. Okay? No member of the committee is allowed to do that.